"Please go away. Your grandma is calling you," Mrs. Rhoda said, trying to send Amara away. She didn't want Amara's bad luck to rub on her. Amara was a young lady who grew up with her grandmother in the small village of Nkwo. Her birth came with complications. She wasn't delivered in the 9th month. She extended the estimated date of delivery with 2 extra months. Her mother suffered for almost 3 days in labor. Her mother died the same Saturday after she was delivered, and her father died a mysterious death 3 days after she was born. With all the events that surround her birth, the villagers superstitiously deemed her unlucky and tagged her as an evil child. Amara was born under the clouded sky, greatly gifted, but grossly rejected. Scorned from childhood, she grew up in the shadows. Her presence among her peers was hardly acknowledged. No family welcomed her into their homes, and no child was allowed to associate with her. She lived a very lonely life under the tutelage of her grandmother. Things weren't easy for Amara, as everyone avoided her, so her bad luck wouldn't rub on them. Twice in her lifetime before she turned 18. She became deadly ill, but no one among the villagers sympathized with her nor visited her. No one knew the name of her ailment or the cure. Because of that, the elders of the land asked the king to pronounce her as an outcast so that her ailment wouldn't get transmitted to other locals. Like a total stranger, Amara lived among her people. She was lonely and traumatized. Everywhere she went alone. She just didn't fit in. She was outstanding not because of her uniqueness, but because she was uniquely repudiated. Amara was very beautiful, but the villagers saw nothing in her but the ashes of a dying weak person. She was already 20, but no man came to ask her hand in marriage because no family was willing to adopt her bad luck nor inherit her misfortunes. She never had the childhood memories of playing with her compatriots like other children did. She suffered seclusion, but she was determined to make something out of life, either within the box or outside the box. The village was her home, but she believed she was not just a local villager, but a citizen of the world. She believed it would only take time, patience, and consistency to get her to the apex of her dream, regardless of the obstacles that challenged her progress. At 22, she made up her mind not to worry about a man or getting married. She redirected her focus. She scoffed at the rejection and the contradictions. She was determined to find the path that she could tread to plant her footprints on the global map. Despite all the rejection, Amara believed she was a gift that the world wasn't worthy of. People gazed only at the misfortune that surrounded her birth. But there was something special in Amara that no one had discovered except her grandmother. Despite the rejection, Amara harbored a secret strength. She had a healing gift, using herbs and plants to cure ailments. This was her advantage, but no one ever came close enough to notice it except her grandmother. While everyone was busy trying to judge what wasn't all right with Amara, her grandmother saw something deep down in her, and she believed and gave her total support to helping Amara nurture it. All the few times in the past that Amara fell ill with a disease that had no name or cure, it was Amara herself who puzzled the cure for the sickness after several attempts of mixing a variety of herbs to see if they could produce the desired results, and she got it eventually. Amara was gifted with what the whole world needed, but no one saw it coming from her little corner. Although belittled, Amara had been the one helping her grandmother tackle all her old age illnesses and other complications. Amara naturally believed in herself. Even though she had not fully discovered herself, She believed she was going to be a blessing to the world, but she didn't know what exactly was her area of advantage and strength. She didn't know that her skills with herbs were a special gift. She was doing it for pleasure and was enjoying the adventure until her grandmother discovered it and pointed to her that not everyone has this special gift of hers, and she'll only do herself and the world a favor if she nurtures and develops it. Her grandmother, who was the only one who believed in her, started helping her by showing her some ancient ways of medicine. One day, Nwachukwu, the son of a widow, was trying to become a hunter like his late father. Went to the bush and came back with a fever that made him unable to walk or talk, and he was coughing blood. News had it that the illness was a slap he received in the bush from an angry evil spirit. History had it that those spirits were the invincible watchers of the forest borders. They were invoked many years ago by the ancestors of Nkwo village to guard the frontiers of the village against the foray of other foreign spiritual agents. Those were the spirits that slapped Nwachukwu with that deadly disease for desecrating the forest policy. The sickness was very rare. It has ever occurred just once in bygone years to a hunter who died after 7 days because there was no cure found to help him. Nwachukwu's mother has already started counting the days that were left for her son to graduate from the earth and unite with his ancestors. Amara overheard her grandmother discussing, and in their discussion, they described the illness and how deadly it was. When Amara heard about the sickness, it was like a voice in her heart whispered to her the cure. She stood up and set out to the bush unanimously. A few hours later, Amara came back from the bush with varieties of herbs with which she made a paste and a syrup, and gave her grandmother a prescription of how Nwachukwu should use it. After Nwachukwu's mother was given the herbs, she didn't make use of them because she didn't trust the source from which it came. She left it for over 2 days until when the illness became severe. Then she remembered the herbs she had despised. At that point, she was sure her son was not going to live. So she was ready to do anything to save his life. Even if he died after taking the herbs, it was of no difference since he was going to die regardless. She took the herbs and prayed over them, asking the God of her ancestors not to allow the bad luck of Amara and her grandma to enmesh her son. If he had to die, let him join his ancestors in peace, but not by the misfortune of the hands of Amara.